Okay, if you're able to see my screen, just show a thumbs up, children. You are able to see my screen? Yes. Okay. Okay, so today we are going to start with the next new lesson. The lesson's heading is the Real Patriot. So before we move into the lesson, what do you mean by being patriot? Who is called as a patriotic person? Okay, who is a patriot? Anyone who is willing to do anything, even to the extent of giving their life also for their country, they are known as a patriotic person. You will see so many army people, the ones who are fighting for a country, right? They're all they're all situated in the borders where they do not let enemies enter the country, right? They fight against them. They do not let terrorists enter the country. They're all patriotic people. The same way we at home, we also do something towards, we contribute something towards our country, whatever we can, we do. Correct? Even helping one another, that also is being patriot. You cannot say that no. If some foreigner comes, you cannot say no, I will not help you, not from India. We do not say that, right? We go ahead and we help them. Correct? Not only to the foreigners, but even to people around us also. When we help each other, when we help one another, that itself shows that we do love our country and we want to keep our country safe and we want to help one another in our country. Okay, so what do you mean by being patriot? Being patriotic means to do anything for our country. We do not let anyone speak ill about our country. We do not like that. If anyone talks anything bad about a country, we stand up and we fight for a country. It can be in words. We tell them, do not talk like this, right? Okay, so like that is called as being patriot. Okay, now let us see here who is the real patriot in this lesson. Okay, can you all see three men walking over here? Okay, the story is based on these three men and their views. Okay, we also see another person standing here. Okay, now let us read the lesson and find out what each one has to say. Okay, the three men were cutting stones at a factory site. A wise man who was observing them for a long time felt that all of them were committed workers. Okay, so what does a wise man? Who is the wise man here? Can you all see this man standing separately? He is the wise man. Okay, so what does he see? He sees these three men working hard. What were they doing? They were cutting stones. Okay, so the wise man, he thinks that all the three of them are doing their work sincerely. They're all committed workers. Okay, he wanted to know if all the three had the same ideas. He went to the first worker and asked him, "What are you doing, my friend?" Okay, so what did he do? He wanted to know, all the three of them, all the three men are cutting stones only, but he also wanted to know if all the three men had the same idea. Okay, cutting stones can mean different things. Okay, for each one, we'll see how, as you read further, you will know what each one has in their mind. Okay, so what does a wise man do? He goes to the first worker and he asks him, "What are you doing?" Okay, so when you're doing some work, when someone comes and they question you, how do you feel? You feel disturbed, right? Okay, the same way here, the disturbed worker answered, "Can't you see?" said the man. "I am cutting stones." "What are you doing?" The man patiently said, "The contractor asked me to do so. I get money for this." Okay, so first the wise man, he asked the first person, okay, the first worker, what he was doing. So here, when he's been interrupted in the work that he was doing, what does a man say? He says, "Can't you see what I'm doing? I'm cutting stones." Okay, so he asks him. Then the wise man, he comes back and he asks him again, "Why are you doing it?" Okay, first he asks him, "What are you doing?" The second question that he asks is, "Why are you doing it?" The man patiently said, "The contractor asked me to do so. I get money for this." Okay, especially in building areas, you will find one person who's in charge of all the laborers, right? So whatever this man he tells, that is what the laborers will do. The same way here, the worker says, "The contractor, he asked me to cut stones, and if I cut stones, he will give me money. So that is why I am cutting the stones. Okay, so the wise man, he says, I see you work for the wages. Okay, so what does a wise man say? So you're working for the money that you're getting. Wages is nothing but if you do some work, they will give you money. That is called as wages. Okay, so the wise man says, so you are working for the wages. Later, the wise man went to the second man and asked him, why are you cutting the stones, friend? Okay, so the first person, he says that he is working or he is cutting the stones. Why? Because he will get money for it. Right now, the second person, when the wise man goes and asks the second person, we'll see what he answers. To earn a living. If I earn, I can look after my family well. I have a big family to care for and my wife is sick. Okay, so the second man, he says that he is doing the work. Why? Because he has to earn. If he earns, then he can take care of his family. And what does he say? He says that he has a big family that he has to take care of. Not only that, even his wife is also sick. Okay, so because of that, he's forced to do work so that he gets money to take care of his family. There was no enthusiasm in what he said. You mean you do this for the sake of your family. Okay, so there was no enthusiasm, means there was no life. It was just a routine job for him. He goes there, he breaks the stones, he cuts the stones, gets the money, and then he goes home, takes care of his family. So the wise man, he says, so you mean to say that you're working or you're cutting stones for the sake of your family. Finally, expecting a similar reaction, he went to the third man and asked him, hello, friend, what are you doing? The man replied with a smile, sir, I am working for my country. Okay, now the first man, what did he say? He was working because the contractor said that if you cut the stones, I'll give you money. So he was working for the wages that he was going to get paid. The second worker, why was he doing the work? Because he had to take care of his family, and in order to take care of his family, he needed money, right? So he had to earn for his family. So that is why the second person was also doing. Now the third man, what does he answers? He answers that he is working for his country. Remember, all the three of them are doing the same job. Okay, it's not that each person is cutting stones in one place. They're all working in the same site. Okay, but each three of them have three different views. Okay, so here for your country, how can it be? Our government is building a factory here. Many people get jobs. It means that their children will be educated. The younger minds build a better society. Thus, our nation will develop. Okay, so what does a third man say? He says that I'm working for my country. So the wise man is very curious. He wants to know how is it that you're working for the country? Okay, so the third man, he gives the explanation as to why he's saying that he's working for his country. How is he working for the country? Who is building the factory over there? It was the government. Okay, so what does he say? A government is building a factory here. Many people get jobs. It means that their children will be educated. The younger minds build a better society. So what does he say? Our government is building a factory here. Once a factory is fully built, many people will start working, right? Many people will get work over there. If many people start working there, they can send their children to school, correct? They will get education. Their children will get education. If the children are educated, they will be able to build a better society because they can use their mind, their thoughts, their visions in order to improve our country. Okay, thus our nation will develop. Okay, the wise man was surprised to notice that a simple man was able to think so high. He said, you are a real patriot. Okay, the wise man, such words coming from another person who's just a worker, he was very surprised that he's able to think so much about our country. So what does a wise man say? He says, you are a real patriot. Okay, so this lesson is about three people who are doing the same jobs, but their views about why they are working is totally different from one another. Okay, the first man, he says that he's working. Why? He is working for their for the money that the contractor said that he will pay him. Okay, and the second person, he says that he has to earn a living, that is, he has to earn so that he gets money and he can take care of his family. Okay, and he had a huge family. Because of that, he had to earn more money so that he can take care of them. But the third person, what does he say? He says that he was working for the country. How? If they build the factory, many people will get job. Okay, if many people are able to get job, they can send their children to school. If their children are sent to school, they will study well and they will be able to build a better society. That is, they will be able to use their vision, their thoughts, their knowledge in order to build the society and make the society a better place. Okay, so among the three, who is the real patriot? Who is the one who thinks about his country? It is the third worker. Okay, the third worker is the one who is a real patriot. Okay, so I will read the lesson once more and then I will ask you all if you have any questions. Okay, so we will just read the lesson again. A real patriot. Just follow what I'm reading. Three men were cutting stones at a factory site. A wise man who was observing them for a long time felt that all of them were committed workers. He wanted to know if all the three had the same ideas. He went to the first worker and asked him, "What are you doing, my friend?" The disturbed worker answered, "Can't you see?" said the man. "I am cutting stones." "Why are you doing it?" The man patiently said, "The contractor asked me to do so. I get money for this." "I see. You work for the wages." Later, the wise man went to the second man and asked him, "Why are you cutting the stones, friend?" "To earn a living. If I earn, I can look after my family well. I have a big family to care for, and my wife is sick." There was no enthusiasm in what he said. "You mean you do this for the sake of your family?" Okay. Finally, expecting a similar reaction, he went to the third man and asked him, "Hello, friend, what are you doing?" The man replied with a smile, "Sir, I am working for my country." "For your country? How can it be?" "Our government is building a factory here. Many people get jobs. It means that their children will be educated. The younger minds build a better society. Thus, our nation will develop." The wise man was surprised to notice that a simple man was able to think so high. He said, "You are a real patriot." Okay, hope all of you have understood the lesson. Okay, now you will be able to unmute yourself. Anyone has any doubt or can ask?
No,
Everyone understands? Okay, everyone has understood the lesson. I'm going to ask you all questions and only the ones whom I'm going to ask will answer. Okay. Now, first one, can I have Alina to answer? The rest of you all kindly mute yourself. Do not unmute. Okay, only Alina Nawaz will answer. Okay. What were the three men doing? What were the three men doing?
cutting stones.
They were cutting stones. Very good.
They
Yes.
were cutting stones, ma'am.
Who sees them doing this work?
A wise man, ma'am.
Very good.
woman.
And he sees
Wise man.
These three people cutting the stones. The wise man, he asked the first man, why was he cutting? What was the answer given by the first man? Why did he say?
I am cutting the stone. Will have the money.
Okay, the first man, he says that he was cutting stones. Why? Because the contractor told him that if you cut stones, I will give you money. So the first person was working for the wages. Okay, for the money that he was going to get. Second person, for what reason was this person cutting the stones? He was cutting stones. Why? Yes.
Money take care of his family.
Very good, very good. The second person was cutting stones. Why? Because he had a huge family.
I can look after family.
Very good. So he had to take care of his family, and he also had a sick wife. Okay, so because of that, he had to work, and there was no enthusiasm. No enthusiasm means he was not very happy. Okay, he needed money, so he's coming, doing the work, and he's going back. Okay, that is the reason why he was coming. Now, the third person, for what reason does he say that he was cutting the stone?
For my country.
Very good. He says that he was
For my country.
Why? How is he contributing towards his country? Who is building the factory there? And they will be able to send their children to school. Okay, so if they are able to send the children to school, then those children, okay, the ones who are getting education, they will be able to make the society a better place to live. They will be able to bring in new ideas how to improve their society or to develop their country. Okay, so this is how the third man says that I am doing this for the sake of my country, so that my country becomes a developed country. Okay, so who is a real patriot among the three people here?
Third.
Very good. The third man who was cutting stones, he was the real patriot. Okay. Did you all understand the lesson, children?
Good morning, ma'am. I am Shirley Christina.
Anyone has any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Everyone understood?
No, ma'am.
You all did not understand?
Yes, understand. No, ma'am. Understand, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, now I will be sending for your today's assignment. I want you all to learn to read this lesson. Okay, read this lesson, and for your FA2 activity. Okay, you have, this is one page. Then you have, you can take till here. Okay, till family. Okay, this you can take as a second part, and the third part will be the remaining one. Okay, for your FA2 activity, I want you to take a video of you reading any one of the part. Okay, first part is either you can read only this much, the first page. Okay, you can just read only this much. This is the first part, or you can select and you can read from here to family, what the second person says. Okay, so this much you can read, or you can read the remaining part. Okay, divide the lesson into 3 parts. You can read any part. Okay, I will be checking on how you pause and how you how you're going to read, giving pauses or stopping, saying the commas and full stop. Okay, did you understand, children?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Shakti.
The project is not giving, ma'am.
Instead of project, I'm giving you reading activity because you have to start learning to read. Next year, you will be going to class 3. You should be knowing how to read. Okay, so I want you to practice reading. So for your FA2 activity, I want you to read. The lesson I've divided into 3 parts. Okay, one part will be page number 47. Okay, only this much will be the first part. The ones who are comfortable, read only this much. I want someone to read from here to family here. And then the third part will be okay, so you can read any one part. Okay, I'm not asking you to read the whole. Read any one part. Take a video of that and send. Okay, children?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes?
Will not writing, ma'am.
No, don't write. Don't write, okay? Or if you want, in your rough book, you can write whichever part you're reading and you can just...
When it will send, ma'am?
I will be sending it to you now. The screenshot will be sent to you today. Okay, you have time till Saturday. Okay, by Saturday, I want you all to read and send. Is that clear? Whichever part you're reading, make sure that you write it down in your rough book and just keep your finger on each word and read. Is that clear?